Woo, let's figure this out. Let's figure this situation out. I should be able to see this somewhere. There we go. I I just pulled it up on my phone because I don't want to look all the way over at my my compy screen. Yeah, I won't get up. Whoop. That's because I'm hanging out on the floor. That's the thing. That Caillou drip, really, really. Well, it's true. So I did buzz my head. If you didn't see, in the late night piano stream last week, or it's been in a couple of videos. I guess today it's been the first one where I haven't worn the toque. I've been wearing the toque because it's kind of chilly, because I lost all my source of natural heat retention on the scalp. How's the floor? It is hardwood, as you can see, but it is all right. It's okay. How am I doing? Thanks for asking, Cake Bombs. I am. I'm doing all right. I've been doing a lot of thinking. You know, humans, about channel direction and what kind of videos to make and all that. So I'm not quite. Oh, you have carpet, Nams. That's great. I kind of miss living with carpet, honestly. As much as easy as hardwood is to clean. Anyways, yeah, I've been. I'm not like, I don't know if I'm quite ready to talk about that stuff yet. But I'm always trying to think of what to do better on the channel and what is good to be doing. So I've been doing some disgusting thinking, yeah. And hopefully it is all for the better. What else we got here? Yeah, today I am feeling pretty good. So I'm going up to the family cottage today. And I'm gonna be there all weekend. I haven't been there since early in the year. And I get to see some cousins, some family members. I'm gonna go in the sauna. I get my sauna on every time I go up to the cottage. It is a good time. I might go in twice. Bring a book, go in the sauna. What a time. Is there any reason why I'm doing this on April Fool's Day? I mean, it just kind of worked out that way. It's one of those afternoons where I know I'm leaving for the cottage at like 4 o'clock or something, or my dad's gonna text me around then. I'm driving up with him. And do you ever have an event coming up later in the day, and then you just like can't do anything for most of the day because your brain goes into waiting mode? They're just like, oh, I can't start this project because I have to leave in 3 hours, even though like it wouldn't take you 3 hours to put in time on the project. Your brain just goes into waiting mode. So when that happens to me, and it's hard for me to like start making a new video or something like that, then I was just like, okay, I'll just stream, because that's like low commitment. That's pretty easy to do. That's not gonna. I can just do that for however long. It doesn't matter. Yeah, so that's why I'm doing that. April Fool's, floors don't exist. It'd be terrifying if the moment you conceived of something, it happened. Like that was reality. Floors don't exist. At that moment, the floor drops away and there's just nothing. That would be frightening. Yeah, so this stream, I have no real plan. I'm just hanging out. Feel free to ask questions. I will probably answer them, Because what else am I doing with my life? Not too much. Oh, so you have that feeling every day with everything for a few years. Cool, cool, cool. um, a mild anxiety of some sort? Maybe. I am not an expert on mental health. Do not do not take any advice from me. I mean, maybe. It sounds like something perhaps vaguely, possibly OCDE. If you have that inability to focus. The first made of lava. Ah, I am slain. I am turned to lava and burned. Um, Illidan Graham. Wow, that is a fanciful username you got for yourself. The detail. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy the videos. Uh, I have never once thought of my videos being played at the gym to just amp you up, but whatever, wherever they end up, I'm glad they can help help you get those gains. I have not seen Starfish Hitler, but I am intrigued and dare I say curious about the concept of Starfish Hitler. Oh, hey Phil. What am I having for dinner tonight at the cottage? Great question. My cousin is making something, I think. He sent us a message in the cousins group chat earlier this week asking who's going to be there on Friday evening for dinner. Although maybe that's just often if there are a bunch of people up at the cottage, we'll do a family dinner because we're all there. So I don't know if he's cooking something, but something will be cooked. I'll only find out what it is then. Starfish Hitler was a kid's show in Japan in the 70s. Why? Why? But why? Japan, you doing it again? You Japan, come on. I'm now curious. Hold on. I'm just gonna Google Starfish Hitler and see what comes up. Starfish Hitler is considered to be one of the most infamous Kamen Rider monsters. Wait, let's load this. Starfish Hitler is an Adolf Hitler themed starfish monster of GOD on the show Kamen Rider X. Character history. He self-destructed himself when he tried to use a suicide tack against Kamen Rider X, as well as destroy the blueprint after he was defeated with Kamen Rider X's X-Kick. Arsenal. Starfish Hitler has the ability to summon starfish, which can deliver an electric shock to the target. His GOD warfare agents wear Nazi military uniforms. Starfish Hitler is considered to be one of the most infamous Kamen Rider monsters, having appeared on the internet on multiple sites for the sheer bizarreness of it, as well as morbid curiosity from people who may not be originally fans of the franchise. That's me! That describes me to a T! And that's it. That's like the entire entry on Starfish Hitler. Well, now we know. Wacky. Okay. Have I ever played F-Zero? No, despite my my thorough enjoyment of Captain Falcon. I've never actually played the games he's from. I've just only ever really interacted with him in Smash Bros. Is F-Zero, I mean, it must be good, right? I know it's a racing game. It must be good. The F-Zero series. F-Zero series. Why wouldn't it get put in Smash? What's my shirt representing? It's just it's a microphone with with these like radio wavelength things. And on the back, it's not gonna be able to get seen, I don't think. Maybe. Uh, oh, I just keep getting a view. It's from like some farm radio show or something. My dad got me the shirt. I don't really know what it means, but it looks great. I like the green, and people always tell me that um, the way my necklace hangs, or it used to hang higher, that the microphone kind of looks like Plankton from SpongeBob. So there's another little a fun little Easter egg on the shirt. Nicholas, I don't get your streams much, and I want to know: is there anyone else you main in Super Smash Bros. Besides Ganon? My mains are DDD, Mewtwo, and Mario, to name a few. Yeah, I also main DDD. I would say he's my second. I've also started to main Sephiroth since his introduction. Really like Sephiroth. He's got a very fun kit, just all kinds of little nifty moves, and it's great for all kinds of scenarios, like from the long sword, his charged B, like the hitting a fully charged neutral B from Sephiroth. Mm, what a delight! He's got all kinds of fun tools, and then yeah, I would say those three are the mains. I've played Mewtwo and Lucario in the past, um, and Bowser Jr. I tend to enjoy the big heavy hitters that you have to be like more predictive with the game style. Because if your attacks take so long to come out, then you kind of need to predict where the opponent's going to be before you launch them, as opposed to characters like Pikachu or Pichu or Fox, where you have like these very quick. It's like, oh, the move is out in 2 frames, so you can react rather than predict. I like the predictive playstyle. Has my opinion changed on what the best letter is since late 2020? Um, I don't remember what my answer was in late 2020. Was it F? Because, narcissism. Why does the necklace? I mean, so what? Sorry, actually, so what is the best letter? Oh, L. L. Yeah, we're gonna stick with that. Why does the necklace hang lower now? Did I say Q the last time? Oh, Q is pretty quirky. Yeah. I guess we're going L this time. If 2020 was year of the Q, then 2022 is year of the L. Why does the necklace hang lower now? That is because the string broke. So, uh, so the string broke, and you can see there I had to repair it, and I basically repaired it by adding another string in and just tying both of those frayed ends together. So now it hangs longer than it used to, because I did not want to get rid of it. Some jewelry I've had, I used to have like a stringy shell bracelet. You can see them in Seaton videos from like 2018. And when that broke, I was just like, it's gone. But the shell has been with me for a long time, so I put in like at least a bare minimum effort to keep it alive. Gotta be, I can't spell love without it. Well, isn't that sweet? Isn't that very sweet? Cursive L is the most fun to write. I guess so. I haven't written in cursive in a long time. I don't really write much in with my hands. Did I? I mean, I when I wrote new rent checks for my landlord recently, I was like, wow, I wrote 12 of these, and now my hand is kind of crampy. I just don't have the muscles that I did in university, where I was writing stuff a lot more. The only things I really write are um, like lyrics and music on sheets, and that is not. It's not. You're not just going at it. You're never just giving her to sheet music because you're composing as you go. I can still read cursive though. Yeah, it's. I mean, I wouldn't sweat it, Logan. It's not exactly. It's not exactly a useful skill in this day and age. When I grew up and they taught us cursive, they're like, this is the professional text. Like, sure, you can print for your day to day stuff, but in the office, in a business setting, you're going to use cursive. And then the internet happened and they were all wrong. So I think cursive is a relic of a bygone era. It's kind of, what's the point? What's the point of cursive? Who cares? Besides it aesthetically, it looks nice, sure, but you don't need it for anything. It's a lot of dots and lines. What a thrill. Where's me? Where's me water? I must claim it. I've claimed me water. What games have I been playing recently? As per usual, I have been playing Neverwinter Nights. It's the classic early 2000s third edition D&D game. Because I play on an online server, so a persistent world. My current character um, is a goblin bard, and he is a hoot. Uh, he is my the main mantra with him is that uh, he will never refuse coin. Like if someone offers me coin, I do whatever they say every time because he's just that greedy. So it's an absolute riot. I get into all kinds of shenanigans. Besides that, I've been playing mostly that, and then also, uh, geez, really the classics: Dawn of War 2, the Last Stand mode. I like pop in for a round of Last Stand every now and then. That is just endlessly replayable, and I wish that they had expanded that game mode more because it's great. Can I grow a beard? I don't really think so. I like right now. I just haven't shaved because if I think that if I just have like a very buzz top and then no facial hair, I really do look like a doofy child. So until my hair grows back a bit more and I can, like it's only been cut for a week, less than a week. Um, but until I can like have something there again, then I may just keep a rotating amount of stubble. But I think I can grow a beard. I have hopes because my dad can grow a beard, and I have basically his exact body hair. So I just gotta wait for it to happen. I've tried in the past. I think the most beardy I ever got was in the Jet and the Valkyrie era, which fit, and that was intentional because it's like, we're doing this epic Nordic mythology stuff. I gotta grow a beard for it. And I succeeded to some degree. I think the biggest the beard ever got was in the Pull You Down music video. Um, but that was like the lighting there was pretty generous to making the beard look good, and it just mostly didn't look too good. But I think someday I'm gonna be able to grow a great beard. Currently, I'm not so much. Uh, how's the new place? It is pretty good. Well, I mean, I've been living here for 10 months now, 11 months. So now it's just the place. But that's good. I got my den here. It feels very much like an adult house, an adult home, because I'm not living in a basement anymore, which has been a big upgrade. Like now I have daylight. Whoa. So I mean, like it's a place where it's like, oh, this isn't student housing, and this isn't just the basement of someone's house. It's like, oh no, this is an adult apartment. You can just live here. You know, it doesn't feel so transitionary in a place that in the way that some places do, where it's like this apartment is clearly a like you're not going to live here forever. It's clearly a stepping stone to something. This is just like I rent like half of a house, so it's like okay, yeah, it's a place. So it's good. It's nice. What's my favorite race in D&D? I mean, there's just so many. So what a great game. Um, I'm my answer to that is kind of tainted because in my homebrew world, I don't use any of the base races. I created a handful of new races specifically for the world, to give it some more character and be less typical. But of the standard D&D races, um, I would say I'd like ASMR and Tieflings. I think I like the idea that you inherently have some kind of moral compass, whether towards good or evil. And the decision to fight against that or to roll with it is like inherently an interesting narrative. Like you can fit that into whatever class and whatever setting, and you'll always kind of have that neat journey. I like half orcs for that as well. Um, like having a half orc who's trying to get along in a human world, but they've got orcish blood is just it's great. Like you just immediately have challenges and some kind of inner good character conflict, which is I think a great storytelling device. Um, Goblins are really fun just because I'm playing one right now. They're just pure shenanigans, so that's fun too. But there's less depth to be found. Like I've been trying to give my goblin depth, and it's challenging because goblins inherently are very shallow creatures. So sometimes I've gotten moments of depth, and it's like, oh, there's like he's got a soul, and there's some complexity in him. There's some higher level of thinking, and the only way I could do that was to make him a pretty smart goblin. Like he's not completely dumb and idiotic and a goblin stereotype. So that's it's a fun challenge, but they're not like inherently interesting in a long-term sense. There are a lot of races for D&D I like for short-term characters or for one-shots because it's just shenanigans. It can be total goofs. But if you're doing something where long-term, I personally want a character with depth that I can explore a bit and get emotionally invested into. So that can be tricky with some races. Um, what's going on here, lazy aviator? I'm just hanging out on the floor, doing some Q and A, some Q&A, Q&A. Mostly because I am not doing late night piano later tonight because I'm going up to the cottage. So I figured I'd stream this afternoon before I go and just hang out here on the floor, answer some questions. Um, Han Solo, when is a new place just the place from your experience? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of I imagine it's different for every place, but for me, I actually do have a specific way to gauge that. When you've lived in a place for long enough, you okay, I can describe this very specific feeling. Um, but when you're like walking around the streets nearby your place, or maybe like you're turning the corner onto your street, and you have that feeling of like, oh, I'm home. I'm at home. This is my hood. This is my street. Once you start getting that feeling, I think the new place starts to just become the place. That's just for me specifically. It's kind of how my brain judges it. Uh, what are the new races in my world? So there are 6 races. Um, the premise is that they're all humanoid but mixed with an animal of some kind or another, which on the surface sounds just like furries everywhere. Um, and I admit that my homebrew world absolutely would be a furry's paradise. But it's more supposed to be a the world itself is pretty unformed, untamed, and wild. So a lot of the design decisions that went into it are to make it more primal. Um, so the 6 races there are the Anga, which are bird people, and there are 2 sub-races. There are avian Anga, which are more like birds, and then serpentine Anga, which are more like snakes. Um, there are the Harax, who are quadrupeds, so stuff like centaurs. But the main premise behind those is it's not it's it can be any bottom half. So like there are Harax with the bottom half of a crocodile. There are Harax with the bottom half of a rhino, and depending on their region and other things, there are a few sub races for them. There are the Johnny, who are flower folk. There are the Matopi, who are the mushroom people. There are Karoka, who are bug people. And there are Shaori, who are 2 ape like species. The Shaori Titans are just these huge stacked apes with 4 arms. And then Shaori Pygmies are much smaller. They're more like chimps, and they have prehensile tails. So those 6 races are in the homebrew world. And just on that topic, any home game rules? I kind of steered away from it for this campaign. So I really like messing with mechanics. So I've built custom prestige classes and then custom base classes as well. For this campaign, it's the first one in this new world. So I steered away from doing a lot of homebrew rules because the world itself is all new for my players' sake, and all the races are brand new. So I was like, that's enough for people to get their minds around and to still like be part of the story, enjoy the setting, have a good D&D campaign. So like next campaign I do in the world, I'm going to offer some new base classes, some prestige classes. Um, as far as homebrewed rules, the only real ones that I do are injuries. So I try, unless a player has given me express permission, I never kill off characters. But if you would otherwise die, what I do is I don't give like a Deus Ex Machina happen where like, oh, an angel showed up and resurrected you and you're all good and the adventure continues. I don't do that. What I do is they survive the devastating strike or whatever, but they get a permanent injury. Like for the rest of the campaign, can't be fixed. I don't care what healing magic you have, it just doesn't get fixed. So one that happened really recently was that one of my characters got blinded. His eyes got gouged out, so now he's permanently blind for the rest of the campaign. But he's alive. His character didn't die, um, so it's bad news, for him. But we're making it fun. It's not about just like crippling him in an unfun way. Like we have mechanics that he can use as part of like the main quest that he can use to see and detect stuff. So like he can see just in different ways. So the injuries are always meant to be more narratively based and to like spur personal journey. Because I like the heroes to be marked by the journey. If you show up at the end of the campaign, level 20, and you have no scratches on you, have you really lived at all? So that's what I do. Let me see here. Let me see here. Thoughts on the Chris Rock slap? I mean, I said my thoughts in the dub that I did, which is that like yeah, the joke was off color for sure. Um, but violence is not really the answer. Use your words. Strange question, but is there a reason why the stripped version of Spirit of Adventure isn't on Spotify? I thought it was. I'm pretty sure it is. Let's find out. Let's go with the old FinMK Spotify and have me a peep. It should be. All right, the app was different. Let's just search for it. Spirit of Adventure. Ooh, I'm spelling stuff wrong. Huh, yeah, it's only finding the EP version. I thought I put it on Spotify. Curious. Very curious indeed, Jace. Maybe I'll do that at some point. Austin, no, hello, Austin. Hello, sir. Hope you're well. Question: what's the composition I've made that I'm most proud of? Um, I mean, there's the cop out. The immediate cop out answer is that I view albums and like full projects in their entirety as one composition. Like for me, even though Disassociate, the film I made, has several distinct songs, the project as a whole is the composition. You know what I mean? But if we're and I would say then what's the composition made that I'm most proud of? It's probably Disassociate, just because it's so different than anything else I've done. It's very honest and not sugar coated in a way that I've never been before. Like that's a really impactful work, so I'm very proud of that. But if we're going like an individual song that I'm most proud of, um, it would probably be on Jet and the Valkyrie. Um, I toss up honestly between Chorus of the Einherjar and Valkyrie. Like those two songs are so the absolute. They are the vibe of Jet and the Valkyrie. That's the atmosphere I wanted to make, and those two I felt I really succeeded on. Make like blending an orchestra and a rock band. So this took a lot of work to try and do. Um, and for like Einherjar, getting like writing lyrics in Old Norse, recording like building that whole choir from scratch, which is just me singing like 90 times. Like a lot of work went into those two songs, and the reward of the finished product was well worth it. So I'm very proud of those in like a in a composition sense. Uh, Ancient Gumface, any opinion on the musician Garrett Williamson? I have no opinion on Garrett Williamson because I have not heard of Garrett Williamson. Give me give me like the 3 sentence sell. Give me like the shoot. What do they call it? The elevator pitch. What's Garrett Williamson all about? Hello, Anthony. Logan asks, "Am I Canadian? I am Canadian. Yerp. Get a frickin' done, bud. Going out to the woods this weekend, out of the boonies. Maybe have a bush party." Hello, Nyan. It is me on the floor. Anthony asks, how tall are you and how many pull-ups can you do? I'm 6'3", 193 centimeters, depending on which system you use. How many pull-ups can I do? I don't know. I I do not have a pull-up bar or anywhere I could really do them, unfortunately, to find out. Um, Probably. I honestly, I have no idea whatsoever. At least a few, I hope. I have definitely lost a lot of my muscle mass throughout the pandemic. Like, I haven't gained any weight, but a lot of my sports things got stopped. Um, so like the dodgeball team I played on, um, rock climbing, things like that, all just got stopped because of the pandemic. So I just lost. I have like no muscle mass anymore. I've nothing left. So I have to. Stuff is now starting to open up again, and I'm looking forward to playing sports. The dodgeball team is back, but it'll take me a little bit of time to build up muscle mass again. Because I don't like working out. Because working out is really boring. But I like playing sports and being active. So it's got to be fun. Oh, that's a great question. A necro fan, one of those two. What is one project you'd like to do but find it too difficult or too time consuming? Um, that is a great question. I don't think something being difficult or time consuming is the problem because I have the time to do stuff and I'm certainly not afraid of taking on a big project. Like Disassociate was a good example. Whereas like I just kind of buggered off for 3 months and made this short film, and it was not like a good financial decision or anything, but I have enough in savings where it's like that's important for me as a human to do. Like I can make the time. And if something is too difficult, then I can get help or learn the skills that I need. Like there are lots of things I want to do, but I I I don't have like the resources or the right circumstances to do them. So, like for example, uh, I think a big one that's on my mind is to tour and to play live shows because I love playing live shows. Um, but I mean the pandemic has made that impossible. Now things are starting to open up again. Um, but if I want to do that, then I want to do it successfully. And I played live all throughout like the end of my high school years and throughout university in bands. And as much as I want to play live shows and tour, I also don't want to just play shows to empty bars, which I have done enough of. So if I wanted to do that, then the smart choice would be to open up for like a bigger YouTube musician who's doing a tour of their own. Um, so that's something that'd be like it'd be daunting to get together, um, because I need to get a backing band. 'Cause God, I'm not just gonna go up there and do karaoke. That'd be awful live show. Nope, not for me. Gotta have that live. It's gotta be live instruments and real feeling. So doing a tour is like daunting but possible. Um, I just need to really put in the effort to make that happen. Um, so at like another really big one for me that is, I mean, like I know your question was that it's too difficult or too time consuming, but this one was just like I just don't have the resources or the audience to make it happen. Would be I on my life bucket list, I want to play a show with an orchestra. So I want to, what I mean by that is I want to do a live show like with my band, whoever they may be, and also an orchestra. So this, stuff like Bring Me the Horizon did a live show with an orchestra at the Royal Albert Hall with the Parallax Orchestra. It's an amazing live album, absolutely worth a listen. It's so good. And to do that, to have to like write orchestral parts to accompany the band playing the music, And some of my songs lend themselves really well to that. Like, imagine Chorus of the Einherjar, but played with a 60-person orchestra and a 50-person choir and my live band. That would be a mind-blowing experience. Unrepeatable. It'd be absolutely incredible. That would be amazing. So, like, I want to do that, but in no realm can I right now afford to hire an orchestra for something like that. Nor do I have like the audience to who would like come to a show. I don't have like 1,000 people who would come to a show and fill up the NAC or some other orchestral hall. So like some of these plans just hinge on me getting more popular. Um, so I really hope it happens if just for the sake of that. Um, yeah. Who would win in a fight, James Bond or Kevin McAllister, who's from Home Alone? I know you want me to say Kevin McAllister, but you're wrong. James Bond would win. It's James Bond. It's James Bond. He wouldn't kill the child, because he's James Bond. But boy, would he disable and disarm him in like 6 seconds. It's James Bond. Get out of here. Is the floor comfy? Asks Anthony. It's alright. I mean, it's a hardwood floor. You get what you pay for. Uh-oh. Quick, Quebec check. Speak some French words. Comme ci, comme ça. My Quebec my my Quebecois voice is much more like saying English, but in that real rural Quebecois voice. Oh, so here's you are, eh? Wait, that was terrible. Sacre bleu. I don't know. Shoot, there's one great Quebec phrase. Not mon Dieu. Shoot, I can't remember it. Darn, it's funny if you're from Quebec, which is a very small amount of people in all the possible world who are watching this stream. How's the hair growing? Asks Oscar. It's getting there. It's been 5 days since I buzzed it entirely. So, she growing back as hair do. I've always had thick hair, so I have no fear that like I buzz it one time and it's just not gonna grow back. No, got plenty. Where's the 4th Chaos Emerald? I don't know. Have you checked Sonic's Snatch? Maybe it's in there. Yes, Mackenzie, I am Canadian. Brian Cho, opinion on Charles Cornell. Charles is great. And actually, hey, this is a I guess a good time as any to start building the hype. So back in 2018, I did a full week. I released a video every week, and they were all dubs from the SpongeBob SquarePants episode Band Geeks. I called it Band Geeks Week. And then in 2019, I did a similar event called Theme Song Week, and I released one video every 7 days, covers of 7 different theme songs from TV shows. And on that one, I featured 1 or 2 other musicians on YouTube on each of the covers, the first 6. And then on the 7th one, on Pokemon, the big finale, I featured everyone. Well, you know what, guys? I'm doing another week-long event. The 3rd in the trilogy. It's happening. And the reason I bring that up is because Charles Cornell is going to be on it. He's involved. So he's going to be in that week event. I'm not going to say what the theme is this time, what kind of music you can expect, but we got a bunch of YouTubers involved. Some of them I've worked with before, some of them I haven't, and I'm excited to, like Charles. And it's just going to be terrific. It's in very, very early stages. this is gonna happen in like 3 to 4 months. So don't hold your breath yet, but it's coming together. The framework is being laid. Heather asks, "What's my favorite cottage activity?" Um, I I would have to say kayaking. I go kayaking every time I'm up there, assuming the water isn't frozen. It's just terrific to go out in the middle of nowhere and just kayak around for however long I want, have an adventure. Maybe I'll do things where I'll land and then portage it a bit and go over to the next lake over, because where our cottage is, there are like a handful of lakes all kind of nearish each other. So just go out for a day on a kayak adventure is such a thrill. Love it. I'm gonna like at this point I'm playing catch up with the comment thread, so I apologize if I like respond to something you wrote that was relevant 10 minutes ago. Um, hopefully existing Ananaya and saying about asking about a UK tour, UK live shows. Yeah, I would totally love to. I would be jazzed to. I think if I do tour, the first one would be through a few Canadian cities and predominantly in the US. Just because I live over here, I've never gone on a tour, so I would want to try and make logistics manageable, and not bite off more than I can chew by doing like my first tour ever, flying overseas. So we shall see. Yeah, Phil, and also for the James Bond versus Macaulay Culkin, James Bond has guns. Yeah, also true. Big fact. Carter Ferris asks, "Have you thought about doing other Minecraft parodies? I really enjoyed the stuff you did with Captain Sparkle songs." Yeah, possibly. I mean, honestly, it's something I should have slash should have hop on more. Um, like with Dream SMP getting so big, and really throwing a bunch of Minecraft streamers and YouTubers into big heights, Dream and Tommy in it and all that. Um, yeah, there's opportunity there to do some songs. I mean, like CG5 has done a bunch of songs about the Dream SMP, and they're great. So I don't know if I would dub one of his songs because he's a great producer and his songs are very fleshed out and complete. But I don't know, something from there. It's possible. Oscar asks, when writing songs, do you come up with the titular slash main line first and write around that? Or write the song and let that main line come naturally through the process? Definitely the second one. Sometimes when I'm writing songs, I think the chorus is going to be X section. And then I write a verse and I'm like, wow, that verse is better as a chorus. And then I just toss the first section. There are rare instances where you just like write a hook and it's like, that's the one. That's the hook. I remember for Spirit of Adventure, I wrote that da 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 da, and it was just like, that's the hook. And there was never any questioning or doubting whether that was going to be the hook or not. Same actually with Blue or Green. The if a song is good enough to be a lead single, I usually feel really confident about it. So those two were ones that hook was magic. It just happened and it was there, and it was like, yep, no doubt. Let me see. Let me see. Mackenzie, Canadian 2, living in NorCal and soaking up the sun for you. I am envious, Mackenzie, because I'm such a summer guy, and California is just like summer all the time. So I'm just get that sun, enjoy it. Don't die from forest fires or smog. He asks if I'm comfy sitting on a cushion. I'm not sitting on a cushion actually. Um, what with this being a hardwood floor, kind of just slides out from underneath you. But I am comfy enough, or I am I will. Once I get to the point where I'm not comfy, I'll just stop the stream. Basically, are you aware that you currently share a color palette with Lois Griffin? Dang it! Oh, you're right. Oh my god. Peter! My father's coming into town, Peter. Mr. Pewterschmidt, my father. That's my Lois. It's pretty good Lois. You gotta get along with my father, Peter. Peter? So far away from her actual voice. What's a good Lois line? I've watched Family Guy in a long time. I now just think of there's this one Oni Plays animated where all the guys are sitting around like doing their Lois voices and their Peter voices and their Mr. Pewterschmidt voices, and I just think of that now every time. And now I'm basing my impression off of that, so I'm like it's not accurate whatsoever. Have I ever been on a train? Yeah. A bunch of times. We have a train here in Ottawa, the LRT, Light Rail Transit, I think is the acronym. And it's good. Trains are fun. Oscar, got a LARP coming up in 3 weeks. Need to write some new songs. Got any stupid / funny fantasy / D&D scenarios? Um, I do. So one that happened to me recently, which maybe you can riff off of. So my goblin character, my goblin bard, uh, pretty well known in his neck of the woods for entertaining. You know, he gets hired as the official jester for feasts and stuff by like ogres and things. So it's put your expectations to that level of entertainment. It's not like fancy elven stuff. He's a goblin. But he ran into this slave who asked him, she's like, I've heard of your reputation. Can you help me be funnier? Because my master wants me to entertain him. Um, and so my goblin was like, sure, okay, I'll tell you the grand secret of comedy if you pay me 5,000 gold. And she did. Stink, that's my goblin's name, is very persuasive. And the grand secret of comedy was that um, a joke isn't funny unless it's making fun of someone. And that was the grand secret of comedy. But she promptly went up to a drow, this drow woman, dark elf. And as we know, the drow hate elves, hate surface elves. And this slave went, "What's the difference between an elf and a goblin? Nothing. The elf is just twice as tall." And it's a great moment. It got a real laugh out of me. So that was a fun little situation, a little D&D shenanigan for you. Whoops, I zooped out of the chat. Oh no, how do I get back into the chat? Live chat. There we go. Florida's also summer or just hot and humid all the time. Yeah, true. Florida's pretty near the equator, I think. How many carrots could you eat on an empty stomach if you were forced to eat as many carrots as possible? A lot, Jace. I love carrots. I'm all about that. This hat was white before I got it. Just all the constant influx of carrots has dyed it a bright orange. A lot of carrots is my answer. Final answer. Lock it in. I do not need a lifeline. You're sunburnt and by March. Oh, I'm envious of the sunburn. Love sun. Thoughts on Elden Ring slash Soul stuff? I've never gotten into it, and like despite the acclaim that at least Dark Souls, the first Dark Souls, and Elden Ring, and I think Bloodborne, all three of those were pretty critically acclaimed, if I recall correctly. I might be wrong. I've never gotten into it. Something about it's not like the aesthetic that drives me away. It's something about the combat system just doesn't click with me, and I have no real way to define it. In fact, I felt a similar way about. I played through the entirety of The Witcher 3, um, not loving the combat, but the story was and the characters were so good. I was so invested that I just kind of overlooked the combat to be able to experience the full story. But I don't know, combats that just have me like ducking and rolling around constantly, um, and that rely on like hair trigger reactions. I mean that less, but more like the ducking and rolling. Something about like the way that motion is. It just doesn't appeal to me a lot. I enjoy lots of third person games. Like I played through Skyrim, much of Skyrim, and um, I think Oblivion as well in the third person perspective. So it's not even that like camera angle or navigating in that way, controlling in that way, but just something about that specific kind of combat. I think it's kind of like Zelda too, where you just have to learn a boss's patterns, and then you just duck and dodge, and you get a hit in there every once in a while. Something about it just doesn't appeal to me, and I can't really identify it or describe it more than that. That's just the way it is. But I mean, they look really cool. So, like, thoughts on them? They look like great games. I'm happy for their success. Any covers that I genuinely believe are far better than the original? Hurt, Johnny Cash's cover of it. It's a haunting. And that's not even to say the original is bad. Nine Inch Nails' Hurt is powerful, but Johnny Cash's version is haunting. Same for Hallelujah, by Leonard Cohen. I don't love the original version, but there are a couple covers that are so good. Um, Sound of Silence, when Disturbed covered it, amazing. Um, yeah, really, really, really good stuff. They did a live performance of it on Conan, and it was so good. It's really something. From Heath, I have two D&D characters I've created with my cousin since I have to be babied through D&D since I have no idea what I'm doing. It can be a lot to wrap your mind around. One is a goblin ranger named Gun, all caps, that has a severed nose in a jar, but I never tell anyone how I got it. Two is a paladin. He's a half orc, half human, but also a skeleton. Well, I mean, we're all skeletons wearing flesh. It's a bulky skeleton wearing paladin armor, but you can't see his face, so everyone gets surprised. Oh, so he's a half orc skeleton in a suit of armor. I gotcha. I gotcha. 5 star. This guy again. I haven't played Bannerlord yet. I'm waiting for it to be on sale. It's on my Steam wish list. But from what like the reviews I've read say that it's kind of just like Mountain Blade Warband, but with some more features. And even as well reviewed as it is, I don't want to spend $70 on like a game I already have, but with more features. I'm gonna get it if I need to wait for like a big sale when it's on 20% or something. But then I'm totally into that. Sunk a lot of hours into Mountain Blade over the years. Okay, I'm only answering. I'm only hanging around for a few more minutes because my rump is sore. Oh, but that actually works out pretty well because I just got to the bottom of the questions. Hurt is best been sung by Kermit the Frog. I Maybe. I haven't heard Kermit's hurt, I will admit. One of my D&D characters is a hive mind of 10 fruit bats in a trench coat. That's a great character premise. So yeah, it's basically what it is, right? I will take a look at Dicey Dungeons. Okay, and really, like, that's I am not doing late night piano tonight. Right, so a good way to end this. I'm sorry, Drunken Sailor. Floorman's gonna go. Yeah, so I'm not doing late night piano tonight, which is kind of why I did this afternoon stream. I'm going up to the cottage, so I will not be in the studio. But I hope you guys nonetheless have some cool dreams, have a nice weekend, and I will see you next week for late night piano. So until then, bye 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 bye. Actually, I guess I can't end it from here. I need to. I need to get up and get it. All right. Here comes an old man grunt as I get up. That's how old men get up. You heard it here. Okay, bye.